Hi guys, this is Charlie with Boxing Focus. An explanation of why, for me, Canelo Alvarez is the favourite going into this fight with Floyd Mayweather. So I'll preface it by saying I think Floyd Mayweather is the best technical boxer on the planet and has been for some time. Some of the stuff he does in the ring is wondrous. Anyone who's done any amount of boxing all they can do is marvel. We can do, I've done a little bit, all we can do is marvel at what Floyd Mayweather accomplishes in the ring against world-class fighters for the most part. But best technical boxer and best fighter, two different things. There's a distinction, and the reality is that all too often Mayweather's choice of opponent has been underwhelming. He's taken advantage of his status as one of the PPV, the pay-per-view stars of the sport, to pick guys who are perhaps not deserving of the opportunity to take on the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. You look back through history and you look at the top fighters. You look at the biggest Hall of Fame names, and they all have marquee adversaries that they've fought often multiple times. So you got Pacquiao and Marquez and Morales and Barrera. You got Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. Roberto Duran and Tommy Hearns. The absolute best of the best fight the best, and Mayweather's consistently avoided this throughout his career. And it's getting in a ring is dangerous, and a lot of these fighters leave a little bit of their health in the ring every time they fight. Mayweather's arguably being smart by taking on guys that generally have been easy to hit, have not been on the same technical level as him, and often have been coming up from lower weights. It's his remit. I don't necessarily hold it against him, but I do think in terms of legacy it has hurt his career, and I think he's recognised that. And this fight with Canelo was an attempt to get somebody on the books towards the end of his career that is a big name, but probably because he is the best fighter in the world and has been unchallenged for so long, I think he's underestimating, I think his camp have underestimated the significance of the weight difference in this fight. And not just that, I think they've tried to catch Canelo early because they've recognised he's talented. But I don't think they've really thought through. That's probably wrong, but I'm sure they've not underestimated Canelo. But Canelo's the first guy that Mayweather has fought in a long time that has decent head movement, that is capable defensively, that does hit with combinations, that puts his punches together well. He's the first guy that Mayweather's fought in a long time. It's actually undefeated. Mayweather's unusual for a guy at the top of the sport in that he has very few undefeated opponents on his record. Tries to argue that guys are undefeated, and farcically tried to suggest that Cotto was undefeated going into their fight. Cotto, all the nonsense Mayweather came out with for that one. Oh yeah, I fight these guys at their best weights. Cotto's barely won a fight at 154. It's very telling that Team Mayweather, or the money team, whichever moniker you wish to use, it's very telling that they wanted a catch weight, because they are afraid of the size. And Canelo will be not just the biggest guy that Mayweather has ever fought, but also one of the better technical boxers as well. I'll be honest, I've been very impressed with Canelo ever since I first saw him against Matthew Hatton. I thought he got a lot of unfair criticism for that, a shutout against a guy who ran for 12 rounds and had shown no interest in trying to win the fight. He's dominated pretty much everybody. I mean, he got stunned by the other Cotto early in their fight, but yeah, so what? Andre Ward got put in his ass by an by a total nobody. So he got hit a few times by Gomez. I mean, I thought he was actually trying new stuff in that fight. He was looking for a counter uppercut, and then as soon as he put his foot on the pedal, Gomez looked completely out of his depth. The thing is, he's just so big and strong as a 154 pounder. Mayweather's not really been in with anybody that's going to have had that kind of authority on their punches. And the thing is Mayweather is not. He's incredible at timing. If you stand off him, and if Canelo stands off him, then it'll be Mayweather's fight. If he tries if he tries to engage Mayweather in a technical boxing match, he will lose. But if he does what Cotto did in the middle rounds, press forward, back Mayweather up. Mayweather can be backed up. He's been backed up by much lesser, smaller fighters than Canelo Alvarez. Emmanuel Augustus backed Mayweather into a corner and gave him a right tear up early in his career. It's arguably one of Mayweather's toughest fights. There's a world of difference between the weight that Mayweather was fighting at then and how big Emmanuel Augustus was, and the size of Canelo Alvarez. Cotto did it, but Cotto's always struggled with high intensity fights to hold the pace, and he struggled there. Just think that it's going to be something else, and something that Mayweather has not had to deal with before in terms of somebody not being so easy to hit. I think Mayweather's traditional accuracy, high accuracy, isn't going to be quite there, and that's going to be a telling factor. But not just that isn't that easy to hit, but somebody who will walk through Mayweather's shots. He will walk through single shots to get his own off. Alvarez will, and we're going to have to see something from Floyd Mayweather that he's not shown us before. De La Hoya, who I think is not as talented as Canelo Alvarez, or was not in his, say is not, was not when he was fighting, and was not as big as Canelo Alvarez, took Mayweather to a split decision in one of Floyd's tightest fights. And I'm not trying to say that I thought that the decision was correct. I thought that Mayweather edged that fight and definitely was the better boxer on the night. But if Canelo Alvarez can just simply work as hard as De La Hoya did and make it tight like that, added onto that he hits a lot harder than De La Hoya did, added to that De La Hoya was not in his prime by the time he fought Mayweather. He was on the decline, and he only had one more fight, which was the farcical destruction against Manny Pacquiao. We're going to have to see something from Floyd Mayweather that he's not yet produced. And that's not to say he doesn't have that in his arsenal. He has not fought the caliber, the average caliber of opposition required to have really brought everything out that he's capable of. So there will be facets to Floyd Mayweather that he's going to have to produce against Canelo Alvarez that he has not had to produce before, and some of that, there definitely will be something there. It's not like as soon as he encounters somebody who's going to make the fight uncomfortable for him that he's going to fold. No, I believe in what Naseem Richardson said. Once you crack him, he's going to turn into a dragon and start breathing fire. Which is what he did versus Mosley. Got hurt, dominates the rest of the fight. Now, the thing is, Mosley, again, in decline, was dominant at lower weight, in lower weight classes. Alvarez just much bigger. It's not going to be so easy to turn a fight around against somebody who is big and isn't easy to hit and moves their head. And if you look at Mayweather's opponents, you look at his list of his opponents, and you think of how much head movement collectively the guys have, the answer is hardly any. Hardly any, and I think this is going to be a big factor. We're going to see Mayweather missing more than he's used to. We're going to see him really not like the weight of the punches that Alvarez is landing. I'm not, Alvarez may well not be landing that much clean, but look at Nathan Cleverly's fight with Kovalev. It might seem completely unrelated, but Nathan Cleverly was saying like the shots that were landing on his shoulders were hurting. Now that's what it's going to be like for Floyd Mayweather if he's not able to find not just one extra gear, but probably two more than we've seen. It's not going to be enough to beat Canelo. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have it, but we can't know because he's not fought the guy required to have brought it out. So it's going to be a fascinating fight. It may not be a great fight. It may be a bit messy, but it's going to be dramatic. It's going to be a dramatic fight. I can't wait for it. And honestly, I think I'd be very surprised if Canelo could stop Floyd Mayweather. I'd be absolutely astonished if Mayweather stops Canelo. But I think for once we're going to see Mayweather going into the middle rounds even, or perhaps even down on the cards, and people are going to be like, interesting. So I look forward to it. This is Charlie with Boxing Focus.